And welcome back to College Football Tradition here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. My name is Bryan Partica. I'm joined alongside my bro host and co-host Jacob Vanderford, and we are here as we prepare for Week 10 of the college football season. The rankings, they're heating up. Teams are competing for conference titles as teams get slowly eliminated from playoff contention and conference title consideration. But Jacob, we're going to start with our games today because I thought that went really well last week. Which one do you want to start with today?
Let's go. Let's do our fun history questions.
Okay.
So for those of you who are just joining our podcast for some reason, you should have been listening a long time ago. Feel free to go back and listen to us. But we have started this new segment series every week, or I'll ask Bryan a couple questions, just random, weird history questions about college football. We'll see if he gets those right. I believe I think you were 0 for 2 last week because I think
I
you
was.
picked Washington instead of Oregon State, but you were down to 2. So those were good.
No
But
participation trophies though.
yeah, no participation. Yeah.
No.
But cool. So I've got 2 questions for you this week.
Okay.
And I'll go with this first one. So, who had the most pass attempts ever in a college football game?
The most pass attempts ever in a college football game.
In a Division I FBS college football game, yeah.
Man, that's so broad. Can I get like a hint of some sort? Like it could be like a year or a conference.
2013.
2013. Well, that was around the time. Was RJ3 the Heisman winner that year? Whoa. Because I'm trying to think of the guys who were like really.
RG3 was he 2011 or 2012? I don't know, something like that.
You're right. He might have been
But I
20.
think Andrew Luck was drafted in 2012, and I think they're around the same time.
They were the
But
same draft. You're right. I think they were like 1 and 2 in the same draft.
yeah.
Whew. Dang.
It's tough. It's tough.
Can you give me the conference? Is that
Sure. Pac-12.
I freaking know. No, I don't got this one. That's a
Okay.
tough question.
All right. So this is an insane amount of pass attempts. How many pass attempts can you guess a number? Just throw a number out there.
72.
Okay, you're close-ish. It's higher. It's 89 pass attempts. And this was Connor Halliday of Washington State against Oregon on October 19th, 2013.
What was the final score of this game?
I don't have that on me right now.
Okay.
You'd have to look that up. But the other one that had more pass attempts was Eastern New Mexico's J.J. Harp, who threw 94 passes. But this was a Division II game against Southeastern Oklahoma, and that was in 2009. So that technically is the most pass attempts ever. But in an FBS game, it was 89 for Connor Halliday of Washington State.
Wow. So I just pulled it up. Oregon won this game 62-38. Marcus Mariota was the quarterback at Oregon at the time.
Okay.
Holiday was 58 of 89 for 557. So he was only averaging like 6.3 yards per like reception. 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's not enough touchdowns or yards.
Plus completions is wild to me.
That's disgusting.
Gross.
Whoa, what a stat. That's a fun one. Okay.
Wasn't that fun? All right.
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. When was the first college football game that had instant replay? And what 2 teams played, I guess. You don't have to say the date because that's kind of hard. You can if you want, but I'm just looking for what was these 2 teams that played in this game. And if you want a bonus, you can guess the date too.
Okay, wait. Instant replay, like the officials used instant replay or just the broadcast?
Like televised instant replay of a highlight in a college football game.
Of just like a highlight in a college football game?
Yeah.
I bet that was probably in like I want to say in the 70s. Am I in the right decade?
You're very, very close.
But I'm not in the right
Go
decade.
down a decade.
It's 60s. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. who could it have been between? I'm gonna just throw maybe UCLA. Were they one of the teams?
No, so it's the Army Navy game. It was the Army
Really?
Navy game in Philadelphia on December 7th, 1963. It was a fourth
Okay.
quarter touchdown that was replayed from a tape, like like one of those VHS, whatever tapes during the broadcast. No game had ever replayed footage during a broadcast. The game announcers had to explain to the viewing audience that they were not watching the Army score again, but were watching a taped replay of the previous touchdown, which is kind of crazy.
Wow. Okay. This is very interesting. Uh,
So those are your two of the of the day. We need to come up with a name for
do,
this segment, like weird
wow.
history facts with Bryan. I don't know.
I don't yeah, I don't mean to like continue talking about this stat, but I just had to look it up. The atmosphere of the 1963 Army Navy game was pretty more subdued than others. That's because JFK was just assassinated a couple days prior, just 8 days
Yeah,
before.
1963. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah. So they talked about canceling the game altogether. Navy came in ranked number 2 in the country. Roger Staubach was quarterback.
Whoa, wait, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so they're wow. Okay. That's fun. I love that. Cool.
Word. Yeah.
Should we get to what's our next game? Or is it my game now for you?
Yeah, your segment now.
Okay. I'm very excited for this one. You guys know that Jacob's a connoisseur of some sorts with
Not really. I've lost touch. This is kind of sad. I'm gonna lose this again.
no,
0-4,
you
here we
do it.
come. Well, no, I got one last week.
You got one last week?
I got
Yeah,
the
you
Aggie.
did. Yeah, right, the Aggies one. Well, I'm not going to give you an FBS one because you could probably name every FBS nickname. Like, I'm not going to give you one of those. Okay. What is the nickname for FCS University of Tennessee at Chattanooga?
I should know this.
Playing the SoCon.
Okay, their colors are blue and yellow, right?
I think you're right, based on my
Um,
memory of what that C looks like.
yeah, yeah. Well, I always think of the Chattanooga Choo Choo, so it's like a train. I
Uh,
don't think I don't think it's that though. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know. This is sad, man. Um, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
the Eagles, no, it's
Yeah.
actually the Mocs.
The Mocs?
Yes,
What's that?
Mocs. That MOCS.
Oh, like moccasins?
Yeah, I believe it's like that. Like a, it's like a fiercely territorial creature. It's like a bird.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, y'all are learning along with me because I don't know what
it's a
that
scary looking bird. I don't
is.
know.
Okay, blue and gold. Okay, I was right in the colors, I guess.
Okay,
Nice.
this one is surprisingly difficult, but I needed to give it to you because it could be an easy one too. Um, Give me the nickname for the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. The nickname.
Mm. Mm. Um,
This game's hard.
God, I hate this game. Why did I do this to myself? It is hard, but it could be easy. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Uh, I don't know. The generals. I don't know. Tell me.
They are the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs. Okay.
It's the Bulldogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have guessed that's my dad's high school mascot. Dang it. Okay.
It's my high school mascot too.
High school
Nice.
nickname, I guess. You corrected me on
Mascot,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
cool. Well, that's our little games of the day.
That's our
Uh,
little games of the day. Did we have another one we were doing?
yeah, what was our next one was well, we want to do the good team, good record, and then um
I think that was I didn't know the other
Oh,
one.
name that team. Name that team. Okay. So this segment for you all is we're gonna call it just name that team. College football traditions, name that team. We are gonna give each other two. We have to guess two teams based on it can be a player, it can be a record, it can be um I don't know if you want to like allude to like a nickname or something like that.
Okay.
But we're going to do that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm thinking I'm thinking of one and um I need to look it up real quick. So I so like,
Yeah.
I want to give you a player name.
Okay.
Uh you probably get this one. So the quarterback of this team's name is Keon Jenkins.
Keon Jenkins. What? Wait. I might not know this one actually.
You got another clue?
Yeah, give me a clue on this one.
Um, Coach is Willie Simmons.
Willie
Head coach, head coach Willie Simmons, and they're in Conference USA.
Keon Jenkins, Willie Simmons.
Conference USA.
It's not FIU, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Florida International.
Okay. That name rang a bell. Probably I was watching CUSA last week with FIU when they lost to Kennesaw.
Yeah.
I should know
All
that.
right.
That's my fantasy team.
I'll give you another, and this is probably gonna be easier one than that one. But this quarterback's name is Anthony Colandrea.
Okay. Calandria, you mean?
Yes, sure.
Uh, wait, that's not Florida State.
No,
Wait, and that's sorry,
Castellanos. Yeah.
Castellanos. Sorry, Anthony Calandria. Where the heck's he quarterback of, man?
So I'll give you another hint. He used to play for the University of Virginia, but he transferred.
He used to play for Virginia. Does he play for like? I feel like you would transfer like Coastal after that.
Yeah. No, it's
Uh,
not Coastal though.
not Coastal. Okay, who is it?
That's UNLV.
Oh, okay. I've not watched
UNLV, the
enough of them
Rebels.
this year. I feel
Yeah.
like
They're an under the radar team, but they're pretty decent.
I only watched like the first quarter of their game against Boise, and then I was like, ah,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
done.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know who's good in the Mountain West though? San Diego State. They're gonna cause some problems this year.
San Diego State, man, like they beat Cal
John
this
Lewis, the
year.
head coach. Come on.
Dude, Sean
Put
Lewis,
respect on
man,
him.
dude, when he was at Kent, he had them roll into like 5 wins. Like, I
Kent
mean, it's
State.
a very hard place to win. Okay, so
All
the
right, your
other
turn.
day on Sunday, I think it was Sunday, I did I went live on YouTube to go over my top 25 and explain my top 25 and just talk about it a little bit. But I think that's a good segue into our next segment. So I want to do it for you. Good team, good record. You know, I've seen it on a couple different podcasts as you have, and we've seen it. You know, it gets talked about a lot just in college football. There are good teams and there are good records. So we'll go through a few because I'm curious on your thoughts. Um, we'll start with this one. It's Virginia, 7-1. Good team, good record.
Ooh, I'm gonna say they're a good team. I I hesitate just because they beat a Florida State team who we thought was good, and they went to overtime and they beat them. But now Florida State is just absolutely tanking. People are calling for Norvell's head, like that he needs to be fired and all this kind of stuff. They lose to NC State, which NC State is not that great this year. I need to find
They're
their record
500,
here
I
real quick.
think.
What are they, 4-4? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like not great. But again, that was like an early season loss. That was back in September or whatever. Um, and they've kind of since then handled, William and Mary, Stanford, beat Florida State. This game, I'm actually really the Louisville game that they won in overtime. I think this is what makes them a good team because Louisville is a really strong team. They beat Miami, who we all thought was top two team in the country. Carson Beck was, a favorite to win the Heisman. They go in and beat Louisville in October in overtime. And they've kind of escaped Washington State and UNC since, but they're still right up there, top 15 team. I think this is a good team.
Okay, nice. I'm glad you mentioned Louisville because they still remain to be the only team that James Madison has lost to. James Madison, after last night, they're now 7-1. Alonzo Barnett the third, the quarterback there, he has 11 touchdowns in his past two games. I think he has like 23 overall this year. Dude's a baller.
Yeah.
It's a baller. That defense too, one of the best in the country. I think they're top five right now.
Who's their coach now? Because they've been rolling since Signetti left too. Like I thought they were going to go downhill.
I mean, they've just been like phenomenal. Like, I mean, I'm just really impressed with like the defense overall because like they've just been suffocating teams. But it's Bob Chesney, quarter been coordinator at a couple places, but yeah, he's the head coach there.
Cool.
Okay, going off that, this is a team that I think is perfect for a segment like this. Cincinnati, 7-1, good team, good record.
I think good team too. I mean, they have a good record, but they have some good wins. Obviously, the Iowa State win is looking less and less great just since Iowa State's they lost to BYU recently and all that kind of stuff. They'll play TCU in 2 weeks on the 8th. We'll see how that game plays out.
I think that's the end of the year. That one.
Which one?
TCU. I think that's the last game for Cincinnati.
Oh no, I'm talking about Iowa State. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that Cincinnati beat Iowa State. That was a good win.
Yeah.
But the game that they lost was against Nebraska. Nebraska's still 5-2. And again, that was like a last second interception in the end zone. Sorsby was just kind of out of sorts. He threw for less than 100 yards in that game.
Hey, give yourself some credit. 6-2 bowling Nebraska Huskers.
Oh, 6-2. I'm still off of last week. Yeah, but I think this is a good team.
Okay, nice. Okay. I think Cincinnati as well is a good team. I think the defensive line is probably one of the best in the Big 12, but they were going over it on like the Cover 3 podcast today. Cincinnati really hasn't faced that many good offensive lines. Like Nebraska might have been the best offensive line they faced, and that's
saying something.
That's saying something because I'm
not
a
bad offensive line.
Yeah, that's not like a phenomenal offensive line. Maybe UCF. I don't think it's like a terrible offensive line either. They've been okay. All right, so okay, we got that.
That's gonna be a test this weekend though with Utah.
It's gonna be a test. It's gonna be a test. Okay, going off that, what about Iowa? 6-2, Iowa Hawkeyes. Their only losses, 3 points at Iowa State. 5 points versus Indiana. I don't think anybody's played Indiana closer. But they did beat Penn State, Wisconsin, crushed Minnesota. Nothing else pretty special on their resume, though.
I'm gonna say good record. I don't think this is a good team. Maybe this is my Nebraska showing because I don't like that. But I do think it's a good record. I don't think it's quite the good team. Indiana beat them by 5, yes, but really, who else has Iowa played? They've played Albany, Iowa State. They lost to, and Iowa State's not looking that great, so that's not a great loss for Iowa. It was in Ames, so I get that. But played Rutgers, not a great team. UMass, not good. Wisconsin, terrible. They just absolutely clobbered Wisconsin, 37-0. Penn State's gone down. And then Minnesota, I mean, that was a good win over Minnesota, 41-3. I was kind of shocked at that score. So, I mean, that kind of puts them up for me. But I think just across the board, they're a good record. Gronowski is decent at quarterback. He's kind of more ground and pound, doesn't really throw the ball all that much. Their defense is solid. They got some good running backs, but not a lot stands out to me about Iowa. So I got to say good record.
Yeah, I'm glad that they have Gronowski back. I think that that's made a huge difference. The running game continues to be very impressive for the Hawkeyes. And then the defense. I mean, it's classic Iowa defense, and they've been playing really, really strong. But I do think good record right now with a few opportunities to prove themselves still. 10-2 Iowa. Like, I mean, that would be a playoff team,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
it would.
Um, okay, let's do two more. So Tennessee, they're sitting at 6-2 right now. We've talked about Joey Aguilar. The defense has not been up to snuff this year, but Josh Heupel's squad has been able to rack off wins against the teams that they've needed to. They beat Mississippi State, Arkansas. They were able to outrun Kentucky, but they lost to Alabama. They kept it close for a little bit, and then they lost to Georgia. That one was kind of a heartbreaker. But everything else, they've kept every game in control. So sitting at 6-2 right now with Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, and Vanderbilt on the horizon. What do we think about Tennessee 6-2?
This is hard because I think they're a decent team. I don't think they're great. I think their record shows that they can, like you said, beat the teams that they need to beat. They beating an Arkansas team by 3 points at home, that not impressive to me. Beating a Mississippi State team in overtime by a touchdown, not impressive to me. Although Mississippi State is looking better this year. They crush UAB, yes, makes sense. Syracuse beat them, sure. But losing to Georgia the way that they did in overtime on a field goal when they had that game won. The
Yeah.
good teams come out with those games where it's neck and neck the entire game and they find a way to win. And that's why I don't quite think that Tennessee is that good team quite yet. They got to find ways to win against great teams. Now, they got Oklahoma coming up on Saturday. They can win that game at home convincingly. I think that will say something about this Tennessee team. And then they got Vanderbilt at the end of the year at home. This is that Tennessee state rivalry. If they lose to Vanderbilt, that's 3 losses on the year. That is not a great season to me if I'm a Volunteers fan.
Yeah.
We're used to, the Volunteers are used to getting those 2 1-loss years. Maybe not as of late, but in the
That's
past,
an
that's kind of
expectation, though. Yeah.
what they're hoping for. That's why they got Josh Heupel and all of those things. So I think it's a good record. But since they're not able to capitalize against teams like Georgia and Alabama, get at least one win out of those games, I don't think it's a good team.
Yeah, and good teams don't let Kentucky quarterback Cutter Boley throw for 5 touchdowns on you. They don't
Yeah.
allow two 100-yard receivers on Kentucky. Like I feel like their pass defense is just so spotty. But then again, look at the teams that they have coming up on their schedule. Like Oklahoma really struggles to pass the ball. Vanderbilt, we saw against Missouri last weekend. Like Pavia's a really phenomenal story in college football, but like when he's forced to just pass, it's a different ball game. And same with like Florida, like I don't know what they really have at receiver right now. So I'm looking at the rest of their schedule and I'm like, they might not play that good of like receiving cores and passing attacks. So they might be able to win the remainder of their games. But like you said, if they drop one, it will be over for them in terms of playoff hopes. But maybe they don't. And maybe like last year, they kind of coast to 10-2 and coast into the playoffs. That's really what I saw from them last year. Like, they lost the games that they kind of expected to. They won one of their challenging games, and that was enough to propel them into the postseason. So
Yeah.
Tennessee. Okay, last one. BYU. So I'm higher on BYU than any rankings that I've seen so far. I have them ranked number 3 in the country just because I think that
Wild.
their overall collection of wins is more impressive right now than Texas A&M's. And I'm just looking at what's happened so far. That's it. That's all I'm looking at. So when I think about BYU, I have them number 3 in the country. They're sitting at 8-0. I think it's the second straight year that they opened the season 8-0. They seem to be taking care of most of their opponents. They were able to escape Utah as well, although it felt like that game was really in control. Defense played phenomenal. What do we think about Utah? I mean, BYU.
I think BYU, they play Texas Tech on November 8th, and that's going to be a big test for BYU. I think they're a good team, but what's really going to solidify a good team for me is if you can beat Texas Tech, go into their house in Lubbock, beat them, and the rest of the year continue to play well. I just don't know that they've played enough good teams throughout the year. I'm looking at the schedule. They've beat teams like Colorado and Stanford and West Virginia, teams that you should beat this year because those teams are just flat out not good. Arizona, that was a good win. You go in there at Tucson in overtime, beat them. And then Utah was a great win as well. And then I'll give it Iowa State too. I think that was a good win, but Iowa State stumbling too, we've talked about. So I think it's a good team. Currently, I'm kind of like on the edge of good team, good record, but I think if you can beat Texas Tech, that's a good team.
Okay, yeah, I think that's totally fair. We saw what Texas Tech has done to teams this year outside of stumbling against Arizona State. So yeah, I'm totally with you.
Yep.
As we move on, big coach firing this past weekend. Brian Kelly is now out at LSU. What do we kind of think of that situation? Because I mean, we're talking about a guy who had a Heisman Trophy winner in his 3 seasons there, a 10-win season, a 10-win season, a 9-win season, never made the postseason playoff, played for one SEC title, obviously didn't win it. So he wasn't meeting the expectation that is there for LSU. He's the first head coach of the Tigers to not win a title since, before Nick Saban. So it's one of those situations that LSU was like, hey, let's pull the trigger on this one. What do you think about this one for the Tigers as they move forward?
It's interesting. I'm curious if Brian Kelly can get a job after what happened at LSU. Like there was such big expectations going in. He had that weird basketball game encounter where he like slipped in and out of a southern accent, and that just left a bad taste on I think a lot of people's mouths. And going into the seasons at LSU, he had Jaden Daniels, who is Heisman winner. And then, Garrett Nussmeier, all these things. And Garrett Nussmeier just like did not meet expectations this year. The team has just fallen flat against some really good teams. I mean, I'll give it to them. But like Texas A&M and Georgia and what have you, Alabama. But LSU, like they want to win those games. They expect to win those games. And Brian Kelly just did not deliver. When you're at LSU, you expect to win championships. You expect to be in the college football playoff. Now I'm just kind of wondering, does Brian Kelly have an opportunity at a job? Does he just want to take the buyout and sit on his laurels after that? That's what I'm thinking about James Franklin as well. We've talked about, do they just switch positions? Does James Franklin go to LSU and does Brian Kelly go to Penn State?
I don't know if Penn State would like BK, but I think LSU might like Franklin.
I think
Am
they
I wrong?
would. Yeah, I don't think Penn State would like Brian Kelly, but I think he fits their like sort of vibe in a way. And
Hmm.
but I think LSU would embrace Franklin because of his SEC experience at Vanderbilt, all that kind of stuff, and players coach, all that. I'm wondering if Brian Kelly might go to Virginia Tech, sort of an under the radar school, not really under the microscope or spotlight, but can rack up some wins there, possibly get them back into the ACC conversation. He did well at Notre Dame and Louisville, or not Louisville, Cincinnati, same colors, Cincinnati. But I don't know, like that's a school that I'm like, okay, that could be intriguing. For LSU, I don't know where they go next. A lot of people are thinking Lane Kiffin might leave Ole Miss either to go to Florida or LSU, so that could be interesting. I've heard John Summerall's name come up from Tulane. I think that could be an interesting option for them. And then I continue to hear about like John Gruden going to coach for some college football team. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to work out either. So those are a few things that I've been hearing throughout the rumor mill. I'm just curious to see what happens from here on out.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I mean, that buyout is huge. And it's important to note that LSU athletic director Scott Woodward, he was the one who orchestrated Brian Kelly's contract and Jimbo Fisher's contract at Texas A&M. Those are the two biggest buyouts in the history of college football. James Franklin, not far behind at third. So and I'm not saying anything negative about Scott Woodward because LSU athletic department is probably the most successful one right now when you look at women's basketball, gymnastics, baseball, all around sports. I think LSU athletic department is phenomenal. He's done a great job. But why are these buyouts so big? I mean,
Yeah,
who's
that's really
telling?
interesting.
I mean, it must be I'm sure that there are some conversations with donors that happen and boosters, and that's probably a lot of the coverage of that buyout money. But man, I'm just like, whoa, like that's insane. Like that
Yeah.
is
I don't know. The buyouts have been wild lately, like
yeah.
just millions and millions of dollars just thrown out there, like to get a new coach. I think Kirby Smart had a press conference lately where he was talking about how like college football teams like just being having a normal season isn't good enough. Like
No.
you have to win, you have to get in the college football playoff, or you're on the chopping block. So
Yeah.
um, unless you're willing to rebuild, which a lot of these schools just aren't. Like LSU is a school that expects to be good now. They don't want to rebuild.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, and they're a program that to me has never really had like a rebuilding phase. Like I look at Nick Saban's title and I look at Les Miles' championship and I look at Ed Orgeron's team, and it was like there was never really much of a rebuild phase with any of those three, maybe a little bit with Saban's, but they all kind of just went in and dominated, took care of business, really just relied heavily on like some offensive firepower and some elite and really elite defenses when it came to it as well. So that's kind of just like how LSU operates. It's like, win a title every decade and roll with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a luxury for sure. Um, well, I'm ready for our pick 'em. You ready
Let's
for it?
pick them. Let's
Let's
do it.
pick them. Let's pick these upcoming games. Okay. I have no clue what our record is this season.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to go back
I
and listen to all the episodes, I'm sure.
I have no clue. But let's start with it. Number 9, Vanderbilt. They're traveling to number 20, Texas, in what definitely is an elimination game for the Longhorns, and could be a really big prove it moment for Vanderbilt. Who do you got in this one?
You said this last week when Vanderbilt played Missouri. You said whoever won that game would lose the next week, and whoever lost that game would win the next week. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Vanderbilt's going to win this game. They're going to keep that win streak going, and I think they're going to continue to be that strong SEC team that a lot of people didn't expect this year. So yeah, I'm going to go with Vanderbilt.
Man, Texas is annoying because nobody is viewing them as a playoff team. And I think that they just like threw them out the window way too fast. That defense is still one of the best in college football. So for me, I'm looking at how I hope Arch is ready to go.
Yeah,
We
is he
saw
injured? He got injured the last game, right?
yeah, yeah. He didn't play that last possession of overtime. Obviously, it only lasted like 2 plays, and then the
Yeah.
Texas defense just kind of took over against Mississippi State. Wasn't really much of a possession for the Bulldogs after that. But hopefully he's good to go. I just think that when it comes to like Texas and their defense, I think that they're going to be able to push Vanderbilt's O line around. So for me, I'm taking the Longhorns. I don't think that their playoff hopes are gone yet. I think we have a big showdown coming up at the end of the year. That Texas showdown between A&M and Texas. I think it's going to be a big, big moment for Austin. Okay, we're split on
Interesting.
that one. Number 10, Miami, traveling to SMU. This is the first time Miami has traveled outside the state of Florida for a football game this year. Who do you got?
I'm surprised SMU has been struggling as much as they have, honestly. They lost to Wake Forest on that 62-yard field goal. Did you see that?
Yeah.
13 to 12. Really long field, just off the crossbar, I guess you'd say. And I think Miami's going to bounce back off of that Louisville loss they had, and I think they're going to beat SMU. They're going to beat SMU in Dallas. I think Carson Beck's going to have another good game, and yeah, I got to take the Hurricanes.
Okay, I'm also going to go with Miami. I'm just not sure if SMU's up to it right now. They've struggled a little bit with some injuries, and I think that Miami, coming off the Louisville loss, kind of understands where they're at in terms of the pecking order. We saw them last year. I mean, weren't they 10-2 last year and got left out of the college football playoff? Did lose that game late to Syracuse. Did lose like 2 out of their last 3. I think it's how it went for them. I don't think that happens yet for Miami. I don't have it going well for them against Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh at the end of the year, but I do think that they get this win. So I'm with you. I'm with Miami on this.
Yeah.
Okay. What's some other interesting ones? I mean, Texas Tech at Kansas State. Is that a tricky spot?
Kansas State's on a tear, I feel like right now. They've been doing well. They have won their last 2 games in very convincing fashion against TCU and Kansas. Beat Kansas in Lawrence, 42 to 17, insane score. I think Kansas is, yeah, like I said, we're on a run here. Barely lost to Baylor. They're just I think like you said, a while back, they have been tested extremely and have come out just like losing by a few points or whatever. They're close games. And I think Texas Tech, they were in the top 10. They've been kind of slipping a little bit. Kansas State could pull it out, but I think Texas Tech's going to take this one down there in Manhattan.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech does it as well. Could be a look ahead game to BYU the following weekend. They do get to host the Cougars. That might be college game day, according to some things we saw from Reese Davis earlier today. Okay, so we're both on Texas Tech in that one. Let's do two more. Ranked on ranked, Oklahoma traveling to Tennessee. I mean, personally, I don't have Tennessee ranked, and I'm a little bit lower on Oklahoma than some people might be, but here's where we're at. This is probably an
Yeah.
elimination game for both squads, right?
Yeah, probably. Who do you have? I'm curious.
Okay, for this one, I think I'm gonna have to go with Oklahoma. I just haven't been impressed with this Tennessee team, but this Oklahoma team is a little bit more in my opinion, better on defense, like super, super solid defensively outside of like that game where they lost to Texas. Well, where they lost to Ole Miss. I thought against Texas, even though they lost 23-6, the defense played well. Just the offense couldn't get anything going. So as long as the offense plays consistent, I think if they score more than 25 points, they'll win. So I'm gonna have to go with Oklahoma.
I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna pick Tennessee. They're at home. I just think they're a stronger team than Oklahoma right now. John Mateer has not looked his best ever since that surgery, losing to Ole Miss, losing to Texas. Just I thought they looked a lot stronger earlier on in the year, and they've just kind of been slipping down for me a little bit. I think Aguilar is going to put a lot of points on the board. Defense does not look strong, but I think if you're in a shootout with a team like Tennessee, Tennessee's going to come out on top. So I'm going to take the Vols.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right, so split on that one. Okay, Cincinnati traveling to Utah. This is a huge moment for both teams. Who do you got in this Big 12 battle?
This game's a barn burner, but I'm going with Cincinnati. It'll be a one-score game, I think, in the end. Utah defense is great. That Morgan Scalley defense is always stout. But I think Cincinnati, Brendan Sorsby, I've talked about it. He's a dark horse candidate for the Heisman. Nobody's talking about him. Him and Haynes King are my two that I think should be in New York. I think they're playing on underrated teams that will be in the playoff at the end of the year. I think Cincinnati takes this one.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati does as well. It'll really depend on if Utah could get their rushing attack going. If Wayshawn Parker, if Nakari Rogers, if they get going though, I mean, behind this Utah offensive line, this is the best offensive line as we talked about that Cincinnati plays this year. If those two guys get going, I do think that Cincinnati loses. But if they get contained, I don't think that Dampier is going to be able to squeak this one out for the Utes. Okay, last one we got, and you're going to love this one. USC traveling to Nebraska. I think both of these teams should be ranked. It's in my rankings, I promise, Jacob.
No, I saw it. I saw your ranking.
Who do you got in this matchup?
I can't pick against my Huskers. You know that. I got to go Big Red. They're at home. They've played well at home all season. Their only losses have been on the road, if I recollect correctly. And USC is a strong team. They've got great players. They've got Mayava. They've got Lemon. Got a lot of firepower across the field. I think Nebraska's secondary is a bit underrated, and I think they'll sort of keep that passing attack in check. I'm just really nervous about that USC running attack against this Nebraska defense. But I think Nebraska will find a way. It'll be a one-score game again. Hate it, but I think Nebraska will pull it out.
Yeah, this one has all the makings of a close one. But like you said, they are at home. And when Big Ten teams cross the Rockies, it does not go very well for them. I have a hard time picking USC in this one. I think that Nebraska has played well enough to win games like this, and they deserve to win games like this. And I think that if they were to win this, like we're going to be looking at the playoff rankings on Tuesday, and we're going to see Nebraska squarely in there, probably even higher than 22 maybe. And then going after that, you got UCLA, you got Penn State, both on the road, and then hosting Iowa. And that could be for a playoff spot at the end of the day. So I think if you're Matt Rule, if you're this team, this is your opportunity right here. This is your season on the line. And I know it is for USC as well, but I'm going to have to go with Nebraska at home for sure.
Nice.
Okay. Nice.
Sweet.
Okay, wow. Got a big slate of games. There was a lot of ranked on ranked matchups back when the preseason rankings were out. Now, not so much. So I think that this could be a huge upset weekend.
Yeah. I'm pumped. Can't
I'm
wait for some
pumped.
college football on Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, let's go hang out. Let's go do something.
Heck yeah, sounds like a vibe.
Sweet. Well, for Jacob Vanderford, I'm Bryan Partika. This is CFBT. We'll see you next time.
Peace.